Hello and welcome back to Taff's Well and what is the third edition of the Metro Depot construction updates. This one for the month of June. There's now a playlist available for this series, so look in the top corner and description to find that. The past few weeks have seen a lot of rail replacement bus services, and on top of the usual late evening works, the line from Radda onwards was closed for 3 weeks. Remember the switches I got a bit excited over in the last edition? Well, they're now in place, and of course, after the underpasses are formed, these will take trains into and out of the depot and onto the line. Now, you may have already noticed it in some of these shots, but the second biggest change to the station since we were last here is that Platform 2, the Valleys bound platform, has been repaved and refreshed, and it looks really nice. Hopefully Platform 1 will be getting the same treatment soon. One interesting and concerning thing to note here, though, is that they've taken the time to replace the platform's surface, yet not installed any tactile paving. I haven't the slightest idea why, as one of the main commitments of the South Wales Metro is to be more accessible to all. Maybe it's something that's added at a later date. I can't see how though without having to rip it all up again. While we're here, I took the opportunity to check out the platform extension, and it's still fenced off for now. Since we last took a peek, it's been nicely surfaced and lighting has been installed, as well as this cool looking yellow strip along the bottom of the railings. Up the footbridge we go, and one final thing to cover while at the station is that some of the trackside electrical equipment has now been installed. Now on to Blethin Road, and diolch yn fawr iawn to the viewer who pointed out my embarrassing mistake in the past 2 editions. Sorry. The pedestrian route has been significantly altered since we were last here. It now follows the right side of the road rather than the left, so no close-ups of sheep piles today unfortunately. However, it does provide some excellent views of the newly installed track switches. Now, the concrete and rebar, what is it for? I'm no structural engineer, but I believe it's now a bit more obvious that these piles of concrete will form a reinforced embankment and a sort of wall either side the underpass once that has been dug out. It's a lot more obvious now, noticing the gap in the middle where the channel will be dug out. Taking a look around the other side, and again you can see the gap that CityLink tram trains will one day trundle through onto the line. From up here you can also get some great views of the main depot building, and you can see the rows of rebar and foundation work that will form the inspection pits. At this point I was just like, hey, it makes more sense if I just do my usual perimeter walk the opposite way round this time, so here we go. These large concrete sections have popped up around the steelwork. I wonder what they're for. Stairwells, possibly? Heading up and over the A470, and this isn't depot related, but there's a timber yard right next to the bridge, and the smell of it is just bloody lovely. This is a really good view of the site because I don't think I've seen so much stuff here before. There are building materials everywhere and work is going on everywhere. It's very exciting how much the build is picking up. A quick view of the network control centre, and it looks like the interior is starting to be fitted. Walking underneath one of the old branch lines, and we're now back around to the front of the site. A really nice touch since we were last here, Amey have put up some planning boards alongside the footpath. Very cool. And to end the update, groundwork has now begun on the remodelling of the station car park. Now, a quick off-site update, and this is pretty huge and very exciting. We now have pictures of the actual trains that will be stabled and maintained here at the depot. While before I've used CGI renders and the images of the mock-up while talking about them, it is really cool to see the actual units themselves that will make up the backbone of the South Wales Metro. And speaking of the South Wales Metro, Transport for Wales and Amey have beaten me to it and released their own update video, which I'd thoroughly recommend watching, link in the top corner and description. Back to this channel, and I'd rather quickly just like to apologise for the large gap between this edition and the last. I've been quite busy with life, and after there was some editing issues with the last video, I've taken the time to learn a new editing software for this edition, which has taken a little bit of time. That is all for today, and as always, thank you all very much for watching and commenting on these videos. I really do appreciate it and enjoy reading all of your comments. As this is June's edition, I'd also like to wish everyone celebrating a very happy Pride Month. See you all soon.